parsha, Gad Lavan. Seder Mefarshim, Kizera Gad Lavan, that is referring to um, Gad, as we know, all over in the Torah. Gad means Goimel Dalim. That's what Gimel Dalet is for Goimel Dalim. And the reason it's saying that is because B'derech Klal we learn that the Ish is the nice thing to the Isha. The Isha is what we call the less Megarma Klum. She is only a receptacle. She is not so much as a giver in terms of having children. The man is the giver and the woman is the receiver. And that's Pshat Goimel Dalam. And it says it in regard to the man in the same context. Now let's move over a little bit to this week's parsha. Or actually, I should say not this week's parsha, but we're going to move over coming up Adar, and we know that the mazel of Chodesh Adar is Dag. Dag is, as we know, is a fish, and Dag is not Goimel Dalim, but Dalim Goimlim. In other words, they're not, we are the givers, and we're giving to the poor ones, or the people who have less than we do, but it's the poor ones who are having the ability to also give. Now, what does that have to do with anything? Now, we know that Purim has a, how do I call it? Halacha. That on Purim, there's a thing, Kol HaPoshit Yad, nice and light. Whoever sticks out their hand, we give them. What does that mean? It means that we do not check, we do not discriminate to see how much money the guy has stashed away or how much money he doesn't have. Salacha, whoever sticks out the hand, we give. As we know, everybody says that the pshat is of Kehat on Purim, whoever sticks out the hand to Rabbeinu Shalom, asks him in tefillah, so all tefillahs are answered. But now we're not talking about that, we're talking more. Kol HaPoshit Yad Noisnelai means that even the people who normally don't give, that's the Dal, who normally is not a giver, he's a receiver, that because Purim, he is Kol HaPoshit Yad Noisnelai, therefore he has the ability to give, and that of course, as you see, is part of Nahapachu, that you are switching it around from the normal people who are the givers and the normal people who are the receivers, that the receivers, which are the Dalim, can also become givers. And you see that in the Nahapachu, from Goimel Dalim to Dalim Goilim. From, you see the word God to the word dog. So you see there's a direct switch around from going from Goimel Dalim to Dalim Goimlim. And you see directly how that relates to Purim, because the mazel is switching from God, and you see by the man, you see it all over, that normally the usher gives to the ani, and here it goes fakert, that the ani is able to give as well. So that's how you see the dog fits in. What shaykhs does it have really to fish as we know it? And as we know, that one of the reasons why Purim is considered, and it carries on, of course, over to the month of Adar. Why is it such a special time that brachos are accepted, and anybody could ask for anything? So there's many svarim, al pi Kabbalah, al pi Pshat, al pi Drush, a lot of Torah on it, but I'm just going to focus on one little nakuda. And that is that the Nakuda is that, as we know, in the ocean. So first of all, one of the Yesodis of Purim is Anochi Haster Aster Panai, and that's referring to Esther. Everything is hidden. If you go look over the ocean, everything is hidden. You don't see anything until you stick your snorkel on goggles underneath the water, and then you see there's a whole world of fish, big ones and little ones and all kinds of things. So that is the Anochi Haster Aster. I am hidden. Everything is hidden. And I'm going to add something before you also see that in the fish kingdom, and it's a scientific fact that almost non-existent that a small fish should eat a larger fish. The larger fish only eat the one that is smaller. In other words, it's as if the small fish are giving themselves up for the big fish, which would be the equivalent of saying that the dalim, which are the little fish, are gaimlim, are feeding the big fish. It doesn't work the other way. So you see again by the fish world of underneath the seas, you'll see, and you could probably check it on Google also, that no or almost never little fish eat fish that are bigger than them. It's only the big fish eating the smaller fish. And that's a part of the little fish knowing that that's the lot in life. They're going to be swallowed up by a big fish. That's what the dalim are going to be gaimlim. The small fish are giving over to the big fish. And you also know that on fish, there is no ayin hara shaylet because they're completely covered. They're completely hidden. And one of the reasons is because also fish have no eyelids. So there's nothing that's hidden. There is no, there is the whole mitzi is anochi haster astipanai. The whole being of the fish is that they are hidden. So there's no need to cover their eyes. That's one. Number two is also that since it's shaloi kederach hateva really for a dal to be a gaimel, right? It's normally the one that has more is the one that's giving over anything to the other one, right? The one that has gives to the one that doesn't have. You never have the one that doesn't have give to the one that has. So it's which is what we're saying is a hipochateva, right? And that can only come from a place of what we're calling hestepanim. Hestepanim is happening underneath the surface, like in the ocean. And that's why also the fish don't have eyelids. Everything, even if it's wide open, it's still hidden. The fish doesn't close their eyes. And therefore, Mishanichnas Adar is also Marbim B'Simcha. So first off, just to say, like simple pshat, the word simcha is only one type of simcha, because the word simcha is the same letters as the word chamisha, which is of course a reference to the Torah, chamisha chumshei Torah. So therefore, misha nichnas adam marbin b'simcha. Yes, we are more b'simcha, but where is that simcha coming from? Because we're going to increase our learning. It's more chamisha chumshei Torah, so therefore it's marbin b'simcha, because we'll be learning more. It's not pshat, we're b'simcha, and therefore we should learn more. This pshat is that because we're going to be learning more, that's why we're going to have simcha. So it takes it to a little bit of a different perspective. And as we also know, we just said over just a couple of times that the fish have no negative parts to it. A fish doesn't have to be killed before you eat it. There is no din eva min achai on a fish. There's no din of shchita on a fish. All these things, there's no preparation necessarily needed. So it's a simon that it's a thing that wasn't part of the chet of Adam Harishon, because initially bread was growing from the ground, and then the bread stopped growing from the ground because Adam la'amol yulad, man had to work the field and do all the preparations in order to make the food proper. But here, this time, he didn't have to do that because the fish is ready to eat as it is. Not that long ago, if I would have said this, they'd say, what do you mean? A fish, you have to cook to eat it. But since we live in the sushi days where everybody eats raw fish, so it's not a chiddush to say that the fish is ready to eat just the way it is. And at that note, I'm going to end. I'm just going to say that to remember that the Nahapachu is going from Gaimel Dalim to Dalim Gaimlim, that those who are poor also have the opportunity to do favors and to do all kinds of things to the people that have more than they do.